Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to break down the biggest trades from the past week. I think while the NHL offseason is now underway, it'd be fun to cover some of the real life stuff while the offseason kicks into full gear. So today's video, we are going to cover the two trades made by the Pittsburgh Penguins, really shaking up their decor. Again, if you're a fan of the Penguins or any of the teams involved in any of the moves, let me know what you think from a fan's perspective in the comment section down below. But let's take a look at the two moves that they made. All right, first up was the Penguins moving Mike Matheson to the Montreal Canadiens for Jeff Petry and Ryan Poehling. Now, after the re-signings of Malkin and Letang, obviously the Penguins need to go for it. So this is clearly what this looks like to me. Matheson has a longer contract as a younger player, 4 more years at $4.8 million per. Whereas Jeff Petry has the higher offensive upside, and it looks like he can, rebound from a poor year this year. Mike Matheson actually had more points this season than Jeff Petry, but I think as a whole, after the Montreal Canadiens going to the finals, that season was a complete write-off. The Montreal Canadiens also get out of Petry's $6.2 million contract for the next 3 seasons, which I think you're going to start seeing more and more moves like that. What's stunning is that they only have about $2 million in cap space, and they are the worst team in the league as of last season. Montreal Canadiens fans, relax. I don't think you're going to be the worst team next year. They also move on from Ryan Poehling, who now, after an exciting start to his career in the NHL, looks like nothing more than a depth forward. They acquire another pick, the 4th rounder in this upcoming draft, which looks to be one of the most stacked drafts we've seen in years, and they get a much younger player. I think the one thing to consider if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan is you're going to see a lot of these trades over the next little while. The Canadiens look to be rebuilding correctly. They're acquiring a lot of picks. They're trading away a lot of their expensive contracts, which they have to do. And Jeff Petry, while signed for less years, is making $6.2 million per. And you have to remember, by the time that the Canadiens are actually going to be competing for a playoff spot, realistically, probably 2 or 3 seasons at least away from that. By that time, Jeff Petry is going to be much older, and Mike Matheson could still be around to actually help that team. The Penguins, they're going all in. They've got a few more years, with Malkin, Letang, and Crosby are still very, very good top-end players. Getting Jeff Petry is going to really improve that decor. I think a bounce back from him on a much better team is to be expected. All in all, from an outsider's point of view, again, I'm not a Penguin or Montreal Canadiens fan, I think this is a great even move for both teams. I saw on Twitter a lot of hate from both sides, and when both teams' fan bases are hating a trade, it means it's fair. In terms of the EA sim, the Montreal Canadiens are going to reject that trade, and honestly, it kind of makes sense. Jeff Petry still one of the best defensemen offensively, but after last season, it kind of looks like he's reverting back to his Edmonton Oilers days, and man, it's mind-boggling to me the amount of players that have been drafted by Edmonton over the years and just moved on, weren't anything, and became extremely good players, Jeff Petry being one of them. And then kind of a stunner from New Jersey, but it makes a lot more sense after that first deal from the Pittsburgh Penguins. John Marino and his 5-year remaining at $4.2 million moves to the New Jersey Devils for their 3rd round pick in the upcoming draft, so that takes care of the 4th that the Penguins had to send in the Montreal deal for Ty Smith. Now, it's crazy to me because Ty Smith, again, not a Devils fan, don't watch a lot of Devils games, but Ty Smith actually received Calder votes last year. I didn't realize until I looked into the numbers a little bit how bad his sophomore season was. He was minus 26. He was awful on the breakouts and defending the rush, and clearly just transitioning to a more pure offensive type of defenseman. John Marino, on the other hand, is a much more stable defender, all around very good defensively, and can contribute a decent amount offensively. They obviously had to move cap space with Jeff Petry coming in and the re-signing of Malkin and Letang, so that makes a lot of sense from the Pittsburgh Penguins point of view, and they require a 3rd round pick. I think this is a good move for both teams again. I think John Marino really helps out the New Jersey Devils, who had one of the worst back ends in the league once Dougie Hamilton was hurt. Their goaltending was atrocious, and I think they put a large focus on fixing their decor this year. Obviously now, when you take a look at their top 6, you've got Hamilton, now you've got John Marino, you've got Simon Nemec, who might stick in the NHL. I have a feeling that he'll play his cup of coffee and then get sent back, but Siegenthaler played great, as well as Damon Severson. On the other end, now the Penguins can get a reclamation project in Ty Smith, who is still a very young, talented player. He's not going to have to play big defensive minutes. He can maybe quarterback a power play on power play 2 behind Chris Letang. It's going to be really fun to watch, and I think this is, again, another great move for both teams, and it just makes a lot of sense for me. EA PA, on the other hand, when we sim the trade, they don't like it. The Devils are totally unwilling to part with Ty Smith, and obviously that kind of makes sense considering how much younger he is and the upside that he had prior going into this season. That kind of makes sense. Again, Devils and Penguins fans, let me know in the comments section down below what you think of the deals. I'm curious. I think, honestly, they're pretty good deals for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think this follows suit exactly what they needed to do this year to try and go for it. It reminds me a lot of when the Sharks were actually competitive, when Thornton and Marlowe were getting older. They had Brent Burns. They had to keep making moves like this to push it, getting out young players and bringing in some more cap relief, some more reclamation projects, that kind of thing. Only the Penguins were actually successful. But again, guys, if you enjoyed the content in the video, let me know. I'll do this throughout the summer leading up to the next season as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.